Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about a very critical aspect of child's health, which is brain development. And yesterday was World Autism Day, so I thought of sharing some bit of science around autism, right? So if you see, one out of every 100 children suffer from spectrum disorder, right? And what is autism? It is actually linked to brain development, underdevelopment of brain, and behavioral abnormalities, right? And the current set of interventions what we have is a lot of doctors recommend a lot of therapies, drugs and antibiotics, which actually alters the concentration of serotonin, which is again a happiness hormone, right? But these drugs have a lot of side effects. Children start having vomiting, diarrhea, and nauseatic feeling, and irritability, a lot of these symptoms, right? So but now research has found that you know uh, there's a lot of connection between gut microbiome and development of autism, right? So a lot of us know that gut and brain are connected to each other through vagus nerve, right? So gut itself has around 100 million nerve cells, which forms a network which is called as enteric nervous system, right? And this directly communicates with the central nervous system in our brain, right? So this bidirectional communication has deep rooted connection with brain health and cognitive health, right? And it has been found that so autism starts even before the child is born, right? From the mother's microbiome, right? So a mother's gut and vaginal microbiome does impact the brain development of child, right? And imbalance in your gut and vaginal microbiome leads to gut and vaginal dysbiosis, and children do so child offspring during the birth, or during the birth process, actually goes through the entire during the birth process. It gets exposed to a lot of these bacteria living in the gut of the mother, right? So essentially, in fact, child colonize a lot of these bacteria from the mother, and because of this imbalance in gut, so there's a higher chance of child developing autism. So a lot of these microbial metabolites, which are harmful one, like LPS, lipopolysaccharides, ammonia, picresol, endoxyl sulfate, uh, all these are implicated in the development of autism. So how does this mechanism takes place? So essentially what happens is, uh, when there's a gut dysbiosis, so over a period of time this leads to leaky gut, right? And a lot of these bacteria which are creating the situation of intestinal permeability actually gets into child's body during the birth process, and this leads to leaky gut, and a lot of these harmful metabolites like ammonia, picresol, and endoxyl sulfate and other various harmful derivatives, right? They moves from gut to cross the blood-brain barrier, and it goes into the brain and start doing inflammation there, right? And that is one of the reason why there is a stall in the brain development of child, or there are behavioral abnormalities, right? So again, one of the most important issues is that a lot of these children who are autistic, right, also suffer from digestive issues like diarrhea, constipation, abdominal pain. So essentially, it also clearly testifies the fact that gut microbiome has a role to play in neurodegenerative disorders like autism, right? So there are certain specific pathogens which are involved, like it was found that children who have autism, the presence and the activity level of Candida albicans, which is again a harmful fungi, was 2 times more than the children who didn't have autism, right? And besides, there are a lot of harmful bacteria like Clostridium difficile, right? All these have been implicated in causing autism. So essentially, obviously the starting point can be, do not consume ultra processed foods, do not consume sugar, do not maybe, you know, if you have a leaky gut, do not go for a gluten-free diet, but it's only just a way of managing symptoms, right? So essentially, you know, the way we have to go about is actually fixing the gut, right? And even before the, you know, child is born. So what we always recommend that, you know, mothers get their microbiome assessed and measured in every trimester. And even if child is having symptoms, you know, uh, autism like symptoms, so probably child's gut should also be fixed, you know. So that, you know, both mother and child should be fixed, you know, together, so that, you know, uh, the through breast milk, you know, a child gets the right side of bacteria like bifidobacterium, which produces short chain fatty acids and lactic acid, you know, which helps child's brain development and, you know, immune system development, right? So essentially, you know, again, starting point is always gut. Fix your gut with the right dietary choices. Do not go for fat diets. Do not go for high protein or high fat diet. You know, understand what your body requires, specifically when you are giving birth to a younger one, right? And even if children, your children maybe 3 to 4 years or 6 years have been suffering from autism, you know, or have, you know, brain development issues, so probably, you know, try to fix the gut, try to feed the right things to child, measure your biology, right, at a molecular level. Right. So this is what we have been doing, you know, for last 4 years. So we have recently, you know, launched a product for child also, what we call as Lil Bio, right? So essentially, we assess the bacterial activity inside the gut microbiome of a child to determine what specific food, what specific prebiotics and probiotics should be given to, you know, to regulate the biology and to, you know, help child come over out of this autism symptom. And we have customers who have been, you know, showing a lot of improvements in their symptoms, right? So the irritability has gone, you know, the depression level have gone in the child, right? uh they have been better bowel movements, right? Child skin is better, you know. These sleeping patterns are better. So you know, so essentially these are some of the symptoms we should focus on, right? So on this World Autism Day, I would really like to recommend everyone, you know, to focus on understanding what is cause autism and try to fix that. That is gut microbiome, rather than getting into, you know, some sort of antibiotics or fat diets. Thanks a lot.